When Kickstarter and its competitors, such as Indiegogo, entered the scene, it was initially a sort of renaissance for creatives because they now had this new way they could fund projects. Especially if you don't have a certain name or a company behind you, it can be difficult to get the funding to do something creative, whether that be a game, an invention or item, art in general. And so Kickstarter was there to fill this need, to help people who had talent find financial backing while also having a more direct, unique experience with their backers and fans. And this is great, and this is fantastic. But we've seen this shift recently in the industry where it's not just used by independent artists anymore. Kickstarter is now being used by large, big-name companies. And that's also in the world of anime. And that's where my video topic is today. Is Kickstarter and its similar companies. I'm just going to use the word Kickstarter, but I'm aware that some of the campaigns I'm mentioning use different equivalent sites, especially since some of them are Japanese Kickstarters, but you know what I mean. We're just going to make that clear up front. So anyway, is Kickstarter good for the anime industry? So let's look at the pros of what these offer. So for example, we've got the Digimon Kickstarter to do some special episodes for the 20th anniversary. Now I'm a huge fan of Digimon, and of course I want to see this content. But you have to ask yourself, this is a huge studio. Why don't they have the backing to do this project? I think that's where some of this falls apart for me and where it makes me nervous. You know, we've got a lot of these VR-related Kickstarters, such as the Spice and Wolf one, which raised its money in only hours. Another VR adaptation that I'll throw up on screen that hit recent news and what was actually sparked me even making this video. And it's like, these aren't no-names with no money. So when you invest in one of these Kickstarters, does this mean you're investing in a product that the studio doesn't care about, that the studio doesn't really want to do? I don't know. Digimon isn't exactly a small name, and I get that this is like a special sort of nostalgia, fan servicey type thing, and there's also tons of reward tiers, which I think are great. It's not that I think it's bad, it's that I think it's concerning, you know, about the state of the industry. But on the other hand, you are getting this special direct connection. You're showing the studio that you do want to support the specific type of project. You're getting those special rewards. You're getting that dream project that I guess wouldn't have been made otherwise. We're in a new age of media. People have a more direct link to their fans than ever before. People don't rely on commercials the way they used to due to streaming sites. So I get that we're going to have to figure out new ways to keep the industry going. And I mean, they've been very popular. Like I said, we had that Spice and Wolf VR anime that met its crowdfunding goal in 2 hours. We have the successful Kura Yukaba anime crowdfunding, which it looks like, at least on the time of writing the article earlier in February, had reached 276% of its goal. So these are popular. These are working, you know. Little Witch Academia also has a VR project they're trying to fund. I mean, people aren't doing these for no reason. Let's see. But these also aren't cheap projects either. Like, for example, the Little Witch Academia one is trying to reach 5 million yen, which is equivalent to around $46,000. I'm not actually sure what happened to this Kickstarter. Let's check it out. I'm clicking on it right now. Oh yeah, no, they got 8 million yen, so they surpassed this, and they are making regular updates, it looks like. So that's nice. I guess I'm just nervous that someone's going to come along and sort of ruin it. If you follow Kickstarter news at all, especially in the video game space, you know that there are failed games. People promise things that they can't deliver on. And that's what I'm afraid, is that a studio is going to fund something that for whatever reason the studio itself can't pay for. They're going to get all this money from people, and then people aren't going to be happy. Because, see, when you do something like Kickstarter, there's this financial responsibility attached to what you deliver. You always want to make your fans happy when you release a product, but when they've actually invested their own personal money into it, when you have delays, when you have any issues, technical issues with your final product, or, as you can see with a lot of tech gadgets, just with a simple Google search, ones that fail to ever even exist, it's just risky. And I'm afraid that one of these projects is going to be too ambitious and people are going to lose hope in crowdfunding. So what's my solution? Because clearly I don't necessarily want crowdfunding to fail. I'm saying crowdfunding failing would be a bad thing. I honestly think Patreon is a better way to go. And this is why. Patreon is not tied to a specific product. Patreon is more about your belief in the work of that person or that studio, that group overall, and of course getting to enjoy rewards just like you would as a Kickstarter, such as behind the scenes looks, special art, whatever it is. I think an example of this would be Studio Trigger. I like Studio Trigger, while they do of course have Kickstarters of their own. I really enjoy the Patreon because it's not about one work. You know, you get to be a part of live streams, you get special art, questionnaires, and it's more about an ongoing belief in what people are doing. And I feel like if you're that committed, you're going to also be a lot happier with what you're getting, because you're not expecting some certain magical project that can only exist if they get a certain amount of money. You've already seen what their work is, and you simply want to be invested in it continuing and get those special perks. So personally, I would love to see more studios, game companies, etc. go the way of Patreon instead of Kickstarter. I feel like they're taking on a lot less risk for disappointing fans, taking a lot of focus away from like a specific spectacular project and focusing on more a fulfilling, consistent stream of work. And, you know, Patreon can be pretty low monthly up cost, and sometimes Kickstarters can be, you know, pretty big for rewards. Not that Patreon can't have the same issues with huge rewards that may not necessarily be fulfilled. I just feel like it's a lot less likely because the promises are never as shiny or overabundant as Kickstarters are. So I'm happy that there is new ways for anime to thrive as we do enter into this world of VR, which is, you know, new, and we still haven't seen everything it can do. So I can understand, particularly for those projects, why they need some outside help to bring them to light. I just hope more studios kind of go the route of Studio Trigger, of creating this ongoing relationship with their fans versus asking for money for one project that they may or may not be able to fulfill. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below about Kickstarters, Patreons, and the use of professionals on these platforms, not just independent indie artists. If you want to hear more of thoughts about the anime industry, what's going on, and coverage of the fall 2019 shows, be sure to hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for watching. Peace out.